going back to Bam Bam Bigelow, what were your initial impressions of Bam Bam when he came into your school? And let's talk all about him. And as far as he's pretty much one of the biggest names you trained, right?
Wasn't there 2 minutes, got in the ring, and I had him hit the ropes. He did that. I said, "Can you do a cartwheel?" He did a cartwheel, and you knew that he was going to be an overnight sensation.
You heard money signs?
Well, I don't want to say I heard money signs because I was pretty green at the school myself at that time, but I knew talent when I saw it.
Right.
And, I knew he had something there.
What do you mean you were green? You said you were green too.
Well, it wasn't like I had, I had not been in a situation to call up Jerry Lawler and say, I got a guy here for you, or to call Tokyo and say, listen, I got this guy. I just was a guy running the school trying to make $1.
Right. Now, as time progressed, you obviously saw, talent in him. You said right away you saw talent in him.
Right.
Who did you call first? Would you, he wasn't obviously ready to go to New York because he was still green in the business, so you wanted to get him established?
Actually, I didn't call anybody. Tokyo Joe was over here scouting for talent from Puerto Rico, and he saw him. For Japan, and he saw him, and he's like, how soon can he go to Japan? And I'm like, how soon do you want him there? Yeah. So the two of us went to Japan, and it was like, he got over like that.
Big time. Now, he didn't have any major tattoos at that point in time, right?
Oh, yeah.
He already had the tattoos on his... Okay.
Well, when he came
you were
in...
responsible for some of that, right?
Yeah, he had a little starburst tattoo on the side of his head. And I'd ask him, I said, would you tattoo your whole forehead? And he's like, why? I said, it's because I think it'll make you $1 million. He goes, what do you got in mind? I said, flames. And that he went through the weekend, and he showed up Monday with flames on his head.
Did you go, wow?
I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So how long was he training with you as far as before you went to New Japan? Was it just 3 months, you said?
No, he'd been training with me a little longer than that. I don't remember the exact time, to be honest with you.
Okay. Looking back, was he ready to go to Japan, or was he still really green?
Well, he was still green, but he was so powerful. They had a guy over there named... the hell was his name? Mata or something like that. And he was supposed to be this big shooter and kick all the Americans' ass and the tough guy. Muta, maybe.
Keiji Muta.
And anyway, it was just like Bigelow got a hold of him, like, next.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what got him over.
Okay. What are your memories of going to Japan with Bam Bam?
Well, he was always exciting. Whenever you went on the road with him, the problem was he didn't know how to behave himself, and he always got in trouble, and it was a pain in the ass keeping him out of trouble.
Any problems in Japan?
None that I can think of right away, but when we were in Mississippi, he goes and picks up this 15-year-old girl and takes her out and cross state lines, and now the state troopers got us in jail because I didn't even know the girl. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have me in jail; they had him in jail, and he's riding with me. So for all intents and purposes, I got to get him out of jail. Same thing in Asbury Park. He got in a fucking beef with a prostitute over a pack of cigarettes. Ended up in jail. $750 later cost me to get him out of jail.
Right. No, I've heard a lot of stories on you've really bailed him out a lot when he was in trouble legally a lot of times. So
yeah,
you were always there for him. There, you had a relationship also with. Did you have a better relationship with Jerry Lawler, or did you have a better relationship with Jerry Jarrett? Because you took him down to Memphis.
Oh. Yeah, they're both promoters. They're both liars. So, you work the deal that you had to work. And when I say liars, they lie to everybody. It's not like they were picking on me or they were picking on Bigelow. But they would say whatever they had to say in order to get, The last time he's like, yeah, come down here. We need you, blah, blah, blah. I'll pay you for your plane ticket. So me, like a dummy, jump on a plane and get down there. And Jarrett's like, well, give it to this guy, give it to that guy. And I still have the ticket.
Huh. Well, did you ever work in the territory, Memphis, at all when you were?
No.
Okay. Going down there, this is your first time experiencing what it was like to work with Jerry?
Right.
Okay. What about Jerry Lawler? What are your early memories of Jerry? And this is also Bam Bam's first major exposure on the stage, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure it would have been a lot different without Bigelow, but I mean, they're just so tickled to have somebody that's refreshing and can draw money. They just kiss my ass in Macy's window during the Thanksgiving Day parade,
Right.
because we went down there and we drew money.
Do you remember your first angle you did at TV?
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, I grabbed Lawler, or Bigelow grabbed Lawler and snatched him, and I took a can of red spray paint out of my pocket and painted his neck red and said he was just another redneck like everybody else in the South.
Wow. Now, could Bam Bam talk at this point, or were you pretty much his mouthpiece?
I was his mouthpiece.
Okay.
He could talk, though.
Okay, I was going to ask you, did he feel comfortable on the mic?
Well, I wasn't around him that much. He did the talking after I was out of the picture.
Right.
But I was better at it than he was.
Okay. In Memphis, how long was your run there with Bam Bam? Did you just go down there for TVs?
Well, it was like 3 months or so, and then I would start, he would stay down there, and I would come up to the Monster Factory and fly back, and, like that.
Okay. Do you remember the Mid-South Coliseum, the sellouts?
Yeah.
Good stuff?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I loved it. When you're a worker and you hear about all these different territories in the Mid-South Coliseum or this place or that place, you want to go there. You want to work there. I mean, for crying out loud, Elvis Presley sold the place out. You know what I'm saying? Who wouldn't want to be there?
You also went down to Texas for Fritz von Erich.
Right.
Bam Bam as well. Memories of going down there. And how much of a hot commodity was he at this point in time?
Well, he was hot. But George Scott was the booker, and for some reason, as much as I respect George, he changed his name to Crusher Yurkov.
George is booking down in Texas?
Yeah.
Okay.
And made him a Russian.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. I still, to this day, don't get it.
Right. And you spoke up, and he just didn't want to hear anything.
Didn't want to hear it. He was going to go that way with it. It didn't get over.
Yeah, it didn't. Who were some of the guys that he worked with down there, the Von Erichs?
Well, he really didn't work with the Von Erichs. There was a big black guy down there, but that was his name. Zulu.
Okay.
He couldn't work with her. Like, the problem is when you got somebody like Scott Bigelow and you're a half-assed talent yourself, they will dump impressive-looking people on you that can't work because you can carry them. But that's a hard night. Dave Meltzer has a column, which I'm sure you were aware of. And when we were down there, I read it one night, and it says the hardest job in professional wrestling goes to Bam Bam Bigelow and Pretty Boy Larry Sharpe for having to work with the Ultimate Warrior every night.
Down there, yeah.
Yeah.
What are your early memories of Warrior down there in Texas?
He was down there and got along with him. Of course, impressed with his body. And all he did was cry that he wanted to come to New York. I want to come to New York. I want to come to New York. I want to come to New York. Well, finally, he came to New York. And then in this very town, him and I, Phil Collins, shot a music video.
Right.
And the studio was brand new. The first thing he did was take his boots out of his bag, put them on a brand new carpeted floor, and paint them right around the carpet. And I'm like, did you forget where you fucking came from? It was, and all he did was whine and bitch and moan. Earlier in the day, he was up, he filmed Kathy Lee and Regis at the time. Hopped in a limo, come down here. There was nothing hard about it.
Right.
It was going to be like 2 minutes in the ring. And, just had to whine and complain the whole time.
A lot of people say he's very hard to work with and a prima donna, so I guess so. As far as Bam Bam goes, how much media press did you guys get locally? Because I remember as a kid living in Langhorne, you guys were always on the news.
Yeah, I wish I had some of those clips. Well, you're traveling around with a 400-pound guy with flames tattooed on his head. I've got, if you look there, I've got newspaper clippings and stuff under the ring, and I mean hundreds of them. And over the years, I've developed relationships with all these sports editors and writers and stuff from the paper. And if they need filler, I'm the first guy they call because it's always a different story. I always got a different guy. And right. Like, Larry, you got anything for us? We're dead today. I'm like, yeah, come on by. We'll do something.
How much in real life did you manage Bam Bam outside the ring?
Well, probably not much at all.
Okay.
He was his own worst enemy.
Yeah. Did you have any role in getting him with New York WWE?
Yes.
How did that come about?
Vince called me up. I just got off the plane from Japan. I'll never forget this because I'm exhausted. It was a 13-hour flight. I come in and I just dropped into bed, and my wife says about 20 minutes later, Vince is on the phone. I'm like, what? She goes, Vince McMahon's on the phone. I'm like, tell him to call me back. Now, you don't tell Vince that, but I was so fucking tired, I couldn't have cut a deal. You know what I'm saying? It was no way for me to talk to him properly. So I fell asleep, and he called me back. And the next thing you know, we're sitting up in his office, and the two of us are there together. And, had the meeting. And that's, I guess, when Scott's head started to change a little bit or whatever. He can do it better without me, or I don't know what he was thinking because he didn't talk to me. But
so you guys had a big blow up after the Japan thing, and you wanted to go into New York with him as his manager, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think they brought in Humperdinck, I believe. Was his first manager? I could be wrong.
I don't remember, to be honest. I was probably so mad I didn't watch wrestling for 6 months.
Well, so you pretty much had a deal, and it was pretty well known in the industry where you would get 10%. I think some of the guys that you had signed,
right?
And he definitely felt that you weren't deserving of this, and then you guys went to court over this, right?
Right.
What are your memories of the whole legal battle between you and Scotty?
The whole legal battle boiled down to when we were in Tokyo. He was supposed to give me 10% at the airport. Okay, he was making $5,500 a week, so he gave me a nice chunk of change, and he said to me, "Listen, you're going to have to get a lawyer to sort all this out. It's going to become a mess." So, what are you going to do? Get in a fight in an airport?
And you had to ride back to the States with him, right? On the same plane?
Yeah, but fortunately, like 15 minutes later, I picked up this model and I sat with her and we had a ball on the way back. I didn't even know he was on the plane.
Wow.
So that worked out great. But anyway, it just, it lets the wind out of your sails, to develop that. And he just,
you're instrumental in getting into the business.
I'm going to do it without you.
Did you get a payday from the office also in Japan, or was it you just?
Well, he saw the contract and he got pissed off because he saw the office gave me 10%.
Right.
Okay. And he thought that should cover his 10%. And I didn't think it should. I had to deal with him.
Right, exactly. So what was the outcome of that whole entire situation with you and Scotty?
When we went to court, that was the last time that we talked, was in the Tokyo airport. 5 years later, we went to court.
Wow.
And when we went to court, the judge listened to everything and said, basically, since I failed to negotiate with him in good faith, the deal was off. In other words, they asked me, did you ever try and call him up? Did you ever try to work it out? I'm like, no, he told me to go fuck myself. I'm not going to continue down that road.
Did you appeal at all or just let it be? And
I just let it be.
Okay. Now, did you guys talk on the phone before he passed away?
Yes.
And what happened there?
He called me when I got leukemia. Wish me well.
And it was a sincere phone call?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Shocking.
What are your thoughts on Bam Bam's success? He went on to WWE, WCW, and big star in the business.
Well, let's put it this way. Everything he done has came back and reflected to the Monster Factory. It's not like I had to be standing there by his side. He can't hide where he's trained.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it would have been nice if I could have got to go for the ride, because I think I could have attracted some more talent that could have done bigger and better things than he did.
What are your thoughts on his passing?
Listen, I don't wish that on anybody,
Right. Okay. Just the nature of the business, the way he went out, or?
Well, I mean,
Do you think you always?
He's not the first guy that died broke on drugs facing jail time.
Right.
And he won't be the last.